Cozumel, Mexico has a lot of fun things to do. Birds, sun, and sand, and even microbrew.
Thank you for tuning in to Hannah and Eric Go Birding, a podcast by birders for birders.
I'm Hannah, and he's Eric.
And we created this podcast to share adventures, sometimes misadventures, and opinions that we have on different birding topics. We're definitely not experts, and anything that we discuss that might be controversial, I want you to remember, their own opinions, they might be different from yours.
I feel like I was like channeling some kind of country singer.
I feel like that went really smooth. Like I had to like pause in the intro because yours was like super smooth. I was like, oh, that was really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You don't.
It wasn't shocking good. It was just like, oh, that's good. Yeah, it wasn't
you're
something
not
that
like you're not like you should go out for a record label, Hannah.
No, I was trying to say it's not like I'm surprised you did good. It was it was good. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You're sweet. So the last couple weeks have been rough.
Yes, they have. Yeah. So we at Hannah and Eric Go Birding, we at Hannah and Eric Go Birding. So I'm a city councilor in my town. I talk about politics locally all day long.
We have people stop in from our community constantly, which I mean is welcomed and everything.
I want to hear from constituents constantly, but that's all day long. We discuss national politics. We're discussing all of the horrible atrocities that are going on with DHS all the time, and we don't bring it up on the podcast. So feel like we need to at least mention it once. And we use this podcast as an escape for ourselves, our mental health escape, to be able to think about something other than everything horrible that's going on around the country, around the world. And
and additionally, we have some really frustrating things going on locally with our business and with our local politics. I mean, we all have a lot of things going on in our lives, and this podcast and birding is like Eric said, our mental health escape from it. Mm-hmm. So that's why we don't always mention, we don't take a stance or anything on our Facebook page.
And it's not because we don't feel a certain way. It's that we don't want to think about that while we're in our hour of doing this. We have an hour a day, or an hour a week, or hour every 2 weeks that we can forget about everything else and just think about birds and what brings us joy. And we don't want to mix those together.
Yeah.
So if that's offensive, that's fine. That's my controversial take for the episode. That this is our escape, and we like to talk about birds.
Yeah.
And we want to share the love of birds with everyone.
Yeah. So we hope you understand if you feel a certain way. And yeah, that's just our pitch, because, we feel like there's always pressure on content creators to like take a stance on certain things, and
it's very clear what our stance is on this, and I don't feel like we need to continually talk about it in this particular platform in this way. This is a way for us to think about something else for an hour, as opposed to the other 23 hours of the day where we're inundated with everything horrible going on.
So the Great Backyard Bird Count is coming up. It's next weekend.
Yes.
So
Valentine's Day, President's Day weekend.
Yeah, so if you are looking for a Valentine's date, this might be a great opportunity to do like a backyard bird count and chill, I guess. I don't know. Get some coffees or martinis or whatever, and sit in your backyard and enjoy watching birds together.
You can do a big day in your backyard. Start off with some coffee, and then have a lunch, and then have some wine for sunset. Just enjoy the backyard.
If our house wasn't under construction right now, then that would be like the perfect day. So anyways, the Great Backyard Bird Count's coming up soon, next weekend, like we said. If you want to participate, all you have to do is go out and count birds for like 15 minutes, make an eBird checklist, and submit it. And it's one of those huge events that eBird and Audubon and Birds Canada and organizations are putting together to help us tabulate birds, so we have a better picture of how the bird populations are doing in our areas. Yeah. So we'll put some information in the show notes if you want to check that out. So if you want to support our show, of course, we have a Buy Me a Coffee or a Venmo that you can support us on. And I have been making resin bird earrings.
Mhm.
You might have seen it on my Instagram that I've been posting them because I like earrings, but I can't always find ones that I really enjoy, or Eric doesn't like me spending $20 for a pair of earrings. So
You make me
instead,
sound so horrible.
yeah, I just have to blame somebody. So instead, I spent way more money on resin kit
Hmm.
so that I could make my own earrings.
And a Dremel and all of the accessories that go with
That's part of the
putting
kit.
it together.
That's part of the kit.
Oh, is that part of the kit? I see.
Yeah.
Right.
So, anyways, if you are interested in buying some cool earrings that I handmade, please go to our Buy Me a Coffee. There's a section on the top that says extras, and you can look at all the ones that I have up there. And thank you, Deborah, for being my first Buy Me a Coffee earring sale. So that,
Buy Hannah a coffee, buying you earring sale.
yeah,
Yeah.
buy me a coffee by buying my earrings. We'll have to change the website. But you can also you can also buy our hats there as well. So if you want to support our show, there's a couple options, and we really appreciate everybody who supports in that way or listens to our show and shares and all that other stuff too.
Yeah. All right. So Hannah has two other podcasts, Women Birders Happy Hour and Bird Nerd Book Club, that come out in between episodes of Hannah and Eric Go Birding. So last week, Bird Nerd Book Club came out. What book did you read?
So I read The Bird Friendly City by Tim Beatley, and that book came out a couple years ago, but it was a fascinating read. And I know that like every chapter that I got through, I had to like run and find you to like tell you what I learned.
Well, it was very serendipitous that you were reading it. Maybe it was intentional because
No,
we did a presentation in January at the Morro Bay Bird Festival about making your house bird friendly.
Yeah.
So it just happened to coincide. You were reading this about bird friendly cities, and many of the larger scale things that cities can apply also at your house. So pretty serendipitous that you're reading that at the same time as we're putting the final steps on our presentation.
Yeah, and I kind of felt bad because during our conversation, I got into like some of the nitty gritty things that were not necessarily relevant to the book, but just interesting to me about like trees and things like that. So now I'm like fully invested in like getting rid of grass and building, like a backyard habitat that is more impressive. And then I'm bankrolling this into like wanting to start a nonprofit where it's just like get rid of grass, the anti-grass movement. So if you want to join that, I haven't started it.
So maybe someday. So also next week, Women Birders Happy Hour.
Yeah.
You interviewed a woman and made a cocktail.
Well, not yet. I haven't made the cocktail yet.
Oh, haven't made the cocktail.
But I did do the interview.
Okay. All right.
I interviewed Leyden Heredia, who goes by Asharita Viajera on social media, and she is a Colombian birder, and so it was fun to chat with her about like her experiences getting into birding, and she's traveled around a lot of South America and up into the States and everything too. So it was really fun to chat with her because she's super energetic and engaging, and she's a fun person to follow on social media if you don't already follow her. So check out those podcasts anywhere you listen to podcasts. And Eric, we're going a couple places.
We are, yeah. So in a couple of days, I guess it's like a little over a week. We're going to be going to Japan. So mid-February, we're going to Japan for 10 days. I'm very excited about going up to northern Japan and then down to southern Japan and just kind of a whole bunch of birding, finding cold birds in cold places and finding...
You think the birds are hot?
Maybe it's hot birds in cold places. Yeah.
Now that sounds like a book.
So we'll be doing that, and then in April we're going to be going to the Spring Chirp, guiding at that festival. Super excited to be back down into the Rio Grande Valley again in the spring.
I feel like I need a thermal imager so I can like check the temperature of birds.
So yeah, maybe you buy one for your phone, right?
I don't know, can you?
Yeah, there's a little attachments that you could buy for your phone.
Why haven't I done that? I just thought you had to buy like the $3,000 ice one.
It's probably $3,000 for the phone attachment one. But
oh, I think I'd rather have this ice one.
I have no idea. I saw an ad for it on Facebook the other day. Anyways,
if you have one of those, let us know how it works.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. But given that we are going to be gone for the episode that comes out at the end of February, we're going to have to do some finagling for our February Bird Nerd giveaway.
Well, we'll figure it out.
We will. But our Bird Nerd giveaway for February, we have gotten some artwork from Christina Ball. She makes some beautiful artwork. She's doing a whole project, 10,000 birds. She's painting, sketching, drawing, creating artwork around all 10,000 birds. And she's provided us with a prize pack of artwork. So there's trading cards, there's postcards, there's a bunch of stuff that has her custom personalized art.
I think there was a bookmark in there too.
Yeah, beautiful birds. It's very, very exciting to see this stuff. We see her at bird festivals around the country. We met up with her at Morro Bay just a couple of weeks ago, and we see her at the Rio Grande Valley Birding Festival in November. And we've seen her at San Diego Bird Festival on February before. So
yeah, but she
goes all over the place, makes some amazing art.
It's really colorful and a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we want to give it away.
So, like Eric said, we have a Christina Ball prize pack for you, and what we're asking you to do by February 17th is to tell us what bird do you think has the most interesting breeding strategy. It's, the love month, I'm going to say, February.
February is the love month?
Well, it's Valentine's Day.
All right.
Yeah. So, anyways, it's not quite breeding season for most species, but I'm curious. What bird species do you think has the most interesting breeding strategy?
All right. So,
do you have one? Bowerbird.
Well, I was just thinking locally, like sage grouse, greater sage grouse.
Oh yeah.
Like birds that lek are interesting. So
that's true.
The cock of the rock, the mannequins in South America.
I love the mannequins.
Like dancing on sticks at each other and going in circles. Like the triangle thing with Costa Rican mannequins.
Yeah.
Yeah, so lecking birds. I think that's an interesting breeding strategy.
See, I was going to go with Anna's hummingbird.
Okay.
And the whole J shape.
Oh, yeah.
I just love watching that. It's so fun.
That is fun.
Yeah. So tell us what you think, and do so by February 17th to be entered into the drawing for this prize pack.
All right, so this is our last episode of our family trip that we took to the Caribbean. So the family trip, we went on a cruise. We've talked about this two episodes before already, and it was a Caribbean cruise with Hannah's parents. We went to Jamaica, we went to Grand Cayman, and we stopped briefly in the Bahamas. And then our last stop, which is this episode, we went to Cozumel.
And we've been to Cozumel before. We went on our honeymoon, was a Caribbean cruise. And we were birders at the time, but we weren't like as avid birders. And we had just gotten our scuba certification. So we went scuba diving instead. But somehow neither of us remember that scuba experience, which is weird. I don't know how we blacked that out.
I don't have any idea. I did find my dive log though when we were moving stuff around, getting ready for the stuff going on in our house, and I found the record of it. I found it has all of the appropriate information. We have bottom time, we have surface interval, we have air at the beginning, air at the end. I don't remember what it was.
You don't remember the names of
I don't remember the name of the dive site. It has the name of the dive site there too. All of the information that you need to record your dive appropriately is there. But I don't remember this dive at all. And it's not like we have hundreds of dives under our belt.
We have 15. Yeah, so it's not that much.
Yeah, it's between 15 and 20.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's a ton of dives for us to free, but for some reason I think we did 2 dives in Cozumel.
And it was really our first diving experience too. I mean, we got our certification in Washington and some murky lake. And so that was our first time really diving.
Yeah. And we went to Playa del Carmen after this. Yeah. After this trip, the trip that we're referencing in Cozumel. I remember everything about the Playa del Carmen dives. Yeah. I remember going down. I remember diving in Chalk Mall. I remember diving out in the ocean. I remember all of that stuff, but I don't remember Cozumel diving at all. I don't know what happened. Why do I not remember this? Where did we go? What did we do? I don't remember any of this. But anyways.
Do you remember diving in St. Martin?
I remember diving in St. Martin. Okay. Yeah, because there's a nurse shark underneath the upside down boat. It was like a little rowboat that was down the bottom. I feel like
everybody else on the ship knew each other, and we were the odd men out and felt really uncomfortable.
Yeah, that was awkward. And then I got really seasick as we were going out there. So then when we got to our dive site, I was like, I need to get off the boat now. Okay. And so I jumped off and had to sit in the water and get seasick.
And then you left me by myself with all the people.
Yeah, you had to sit up there with all the awkward people, and I was like, I'm going to throw up if I don't get in the water.
Okay, let's get back on track.
Anyways, back on track. Birding, not diving, birding.
But I do want to go diving again.
Yeah, we should go diving again.
Okay. So, anyways, yeah, we're going back to Cozumel, and I just really don't even remember going there in the first place. I know what we just said, but anyways, this was like going to Cozumel for the first time.
Basically, like going the first time, even though we've been there.
Yeah, and it counts as Mexico birding, not Caribbean birding. So we weren't able to, find a guide through the Caribbean bird trail.
Birds Caribbean doesn't provide information to this because it's Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you just do a quick Google search, then that leads you to Elvis, who ended up being booked that day, but he connected us with Melba Aguilera, who I did have in my Women Birders Happy Hour, I think last month.
Oh,
so if you want to learn more about her, check that out, because she was an absolute blast, and we really had a great time with her. But anyways, we connected with her, and she was available that day, and we were like, great, somehow we've made it this time that every single port we go to, we're gonna have a guide.
We had a guide everywhere.
Yeah.
And so for those that are not familiar with Cozumel, so Cozumel is off the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula. It's really not that far off. There's a ferry that goes back and forth. There's an airport just outside of the downtown area of Cozumel that you can fly into Cozumel if you wanted to. Pretty easy to get to this particular island. It's not like it's...
You mean Cancun?
No, there's an airport in Cozumel too.
Oh, sorry.
You can fly from Cancun to Cozumel.
Yes, sorry, it's a misunderstood.
Super short flight, but you can get to Cozumel a number of different ways. It's relatively easy to get to this island, but
I didn't realize how close it was. That it was only like a 45-minute or however long ferry ride.
Yeah, it's a pretty short ferry to get across. It's like you technically you could do it if you were on a cruise. And you'd stop and take the ferry across. But the reliability of, like, is the timing going to work?
I think they had tours going to the mainland.
Did they?
I think
so.
Oh,
I didn't realize that. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's relatively easy to get to this island. However, there are 3 endemic species on this island. So, great target for going birding in Mexico. You come here and you can get 3 species. The island itself is mostly wild. If you look at the map of the whole place, there's some residential area up in the northeast of the island. It seems like most of the development is in the beach area around the city.
So anyways, getting to Cozumel, there's a lot of different ways. In our situation, our ship docked and we headed to meet Melba at the Starbucks at the port. The port it's like a huge outdoor shopping mall. Like a lot of these ports are so different from each other. Like I've been in ports in Europe where you're just like dropped into the middle of like a fishing area and it's like or go meet the bus,
or like a shipping port where you're just like walking in between shipping containers and then you get out to the street and there's a bus to hop on, or that's where all the taxis are at or whatever.
So this one is very built up.
It is designed to receive cruise ship passengers,
which I mean that's one of their big industries. So there's a huge outdoor shopping mall that you have to exit through to get to the city, and like
exit through the gift shop.
Yeah, I kept thinking we were like getting closer to the exit, and then it was like, no, you have to get up the escalator.
Now go up the escalator. Now go down the escalator.
Yeah, but
now go up it again.
We'd walk like a quarter of a mile like around through all these shops to get to the exit escalator to get to the Starbucks.
Yeah. So the Starbucks was probably the closest business to the actual entry port itself, but you had to walk through the entire place, back out and around. I think so. There's an escalator that was broken. I don't know if that was broken intentionally to make people have to walk through all the shops first. But
they had like maintenance guys working on it.
They did look like there were some maintenance guys working on it. I kind of figured it was like, oh no, this doesn't work. Now you have to go past all the shops.
Why would they even have put it there?
I don't know.
Anyways, so just be prepared for that if you do a similar adventure. We made it to the Starbucks and Melba found us a few minutes later and it was already getting super hot. So I was like trying to find some shade to hide in. So.
Yeah, we're just like trying to stay cool because as we've mentioned in the other ones, the cruise ship arrives at prime sitting on the beach time. So that's
in this case was 9.
We're 9 o'clock when we arrived. The idea behind the cruise ship arriving is that you show up, you sit on the beach, enjoy some time on the beach, you go and
send your frogs.
Get super drunk. You do all that stuff. That's what the cruise ships are catering to. So they're not really catering to birders, which we would have preferred to have docked at 5:30, 6 o'clock and got off the boat but that's not the way it works. So you do what you can to see whatever birds you can. So 9 o'clock we're docked. It's already starting to get pretty warm. And Melba was like, all right, let's get on the road. So we got on the road and went north like 3 miles, maybe, just to the edge of town, which has the wastewater treatment plant for the island.
No, you're supposed to say the name.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm not going to say it right. So, yeah, the first stop was Plante de Tratamiento de Aguas Residuales de San Miguel, which sounds very fancy, otherwise known as a wastewater treatment plant.
It's the plant of treatment of the water from residential in San Miguel. So, it's the wastewater treatment plant.
Which, of course, we love a wastewater treatment plant.
That's where you go. That's where you find some good birds getting some of those suspended solids.
And this one is not like suited for tourism or situated for tourism. Like there's no trails or facilities for birders. It's literally just a road alongside the treatment facility. Mm-hmm. But they did have like a pretty substantial wetlands for the water
for the final phase. I imagine it was the final phase.
I don't think that was intentional. I just think it is.
It looked like there was also some stuff overflowing somewhere, and I don't know what. I'm not familiar. I didn't really research this plant. It kind of looked like a sequencing batch reactor to me, but I didn't look that carefully at it, and it had a very powerful odor.
It did, yeah, and a lot of the wastewater treatment plants we go to don't, but it depends.
This particular one is a smelly one, which it attracted the birds. It was full of birds. There was a lot of there was northern jacanas. There was a whole bunch.
There was so many northern jacanas, and I think
lesser yellowlegs.
I think Melba
sandpipers.
Melba was really trying to like assess where we were with our birding, and she was like kind of like, see that bird over there with the yellow on its face and the dark brown on its back. That's the northern jacana, and we're like, yeah.
Which is fine. Like when we're 15 minutes, 20 minutes into talking with Melba. She literally knows nothing of what we've seen. She knows nothing of where we stand in terms of ability to spot things. So it's great to start at that base level of like, all right.
I know.
And then you work your way up as you progress throughout the day, which we did.
No, and we were very polite about it, but it's like I don't know how to like broach that conversation with somebody.
It's hard to, because a lot of people, I feel, especially men, will oversell their birding abilities, and
that's been proven.
Yeah, well, that's why I said especially men. But I think most people will oversell them when they want to go see stuff. But men are notorious and especially prone to doing this, of just overselling, be like, "Oh, I know what I'm doing," and so then
walk off in the wrong direction.
Exactly, and so as a guide, it's hard to gauge that, like how good are they actually? No, you want to make sure you're actually meeting their actual level, not their perceived level.
And I get that, because when we're out birding, sometimes we'll, be birding and somebody will walk up to us and they're like, "Hey, what are you looking at?" And we'll be like, "Ducks." And they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I saw a ring-necked duck around the corner."
And then it's like, all right, well then they know
they know what's up.
They know what's up. They know what's going on. We can have a little bit deeper conversation about the species that we're seeing, as opposed to just somebody that is walking by and they wanted to know if we saw the bald eagles.
Yeah.
Like, and that's all they cared about. So it's different levels,
which we're not
of
like
interest.
We're not like, trying to be dismissive about bald eagles.
No, bald eagles are fun. But but anyways, Melba was she spent quite a while showing us the northern jacanas. And they're fun. They're fun birds. There were all sorts of plumages.
We don't get to see them.
We never see them. Yeah, like we see them when we go down south, but we don't see them here in the States. But
I mean, there has been one in South Texas.
That's true. But adults, juveniles, immatures, all different life stages, kind of hanging out in this sewage pond. So that was kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, and then
sewage ponds. Marshy, sewagey area.
Gross. And there was a lesser yellowlegs and a least sandpiper, white ibis, glossy ibis, snowy egret, a lot of things, taking advantage of all the water.
Of all of the suspended solids.
Yep. I feel like I need a t-shirt that says that. I love suspended solids. Suspended solids bringing the birds.
There we go. All right.
My suspended solids bring all the birds to the yard. Dang it.
You're close.
Nobody steal that. That is mine. So anyways, at about, we got there like 10-ish, and it was like raptor takeoff time. So
Yes,
we had
it was.
black vultures and turkey vultures, and then Eric spotted something like way off in the distance that
Like,
was different.
it was honestly, we were looking towards mainland Mexico.
Yeah.
When I first spotted it, it probably was far enough away that it may have been over.
No, it wasn't.
It was so far away. It was like this little tiny dot, and I'm like, oh, I gotta look at this. And it was flying towards us, and it took.
I was thinking it was a Swainson's hawk for a long time.
Yeah, it was. At 30 miles away or whatever it was to start.
Stop
70 miles away.
Oh my gosh.
It was literally just a single pixel in my brain out there.
You actually just smelled it.
Yeah, it was so far. Oh, I couldn't smell anything over the planet. But it was just so far out there. But it moved its way closer and closer and closer. Pretty soon it literally just flew straight over us. So I was like, I don't know how that I happened to look at the one bird that was so far away that ended up flying literally over our heads. Like, I don't know, how often does that happen? I feel like that happens more often than not. But
yeah.
Where this bird that's so far.
Okay.
Anyways, short-tailed hawk. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Melba was excited about it. We got pretty darn good looks at it. I got some pretty bad photos of it because I'm not a raptor photographer. I'm not very good at that. I'm really not a photographer at all. I'm just kind of a picture taker.
Well, and about that time Elvis pulled up, who was the person that we originally contacted, and he had a group with him. So, we were kind of playing off each other. So we were like, short-tailed hawk.
Look at that. Look up there.
Yeah. So that was really cool. And they walked down the road to a treed hedged area. And so we, like I said, kind of leapfrogged them. So when they were walking back, we walked towards that way.
Yeah.
And we had an American redstart. We had another mangrove yellow warbler. We've talked about it in the past couple episodes, how, they've split off mangrove yellow warbler recently, and now there's all these subspecies. And
they were all subspecies before, but now mangrove is a species with a bunch of subspecies, and then northern yellow is by itself.
Yeah.
Split off. So anyways,
we were looking at the Cozumel subspecies of the mangrove yellow warbler, which you actually got some really good pictures of it. And
this one actually looks more reminiscent of the mangrove warbler in South Texas.
Well, but the one in South Texas, like its whole head is like rusty colored.
Yeah.
This one,
it's kind of just the forehead and a little bit like almost a chin
Wilson
strap.
warbler.
So it was very Wilson warbler-y in terms of the
cap,
the location of the dark.
Yeah, and then it had some patchy like rufous on its face. Really beautiful warbler though.
Yeah. So these mangrove yellow warblers, they're all the non-migratory ones that are subspecies that are not going places. So this particular guy or girl, I'm not sure. This individual is just hanging out on Cozumel its whole life. It doesn't migrate through. Other yellow warblers will migrate through, and so that's how these guys segregate themselves out. But yeah, so got some pretty darn good looks at this mangrove yellow warbler. Lots of good photos. We ended up meeting Elvis again on the way back, and we're like, hey, BTW, there's a mangrove yellow warbler right over there. And he's like, oh, cool. So he brought his clients over there, and we continued walking. We
had a Morlet seed eater alongside the road, which, we don't get to see a whole lot of those. Every once in a while when we're in Texas, we'll see one. But besides that, it's, pretty uncommon for us. So that was fun. And then back towards the water, Melba was, just kind of trying to find other things that were hiding in the grasses, and then she saw something zipping back and forth, and it turned out to be a bird that I really wanted to get, a ruddy crake.
Yes. So it was calling. It called a handful of times when we first got out of the car, but it was like, well, I don't really, this is a bird that you can see. It's not like it's an impossible bird to see, so I didn't really want to count it until we saw it. But once we were coming back to the car, just shoop, 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 it came out. I got a couple of very quick photos of it in the shadows, so it's kind of like off there. But that's kind of the target for this spot is the ruddy crake, because it's relatively easy to get at this particular treatment plant. Yeah. So great looks. It has like a little bit of a gray head. It's a crake, so it's
like a rail.
Like a rail, yeah. It's rail shaped. It acts just like a rail. That's what it does.
Well, it's really pretty too. It's like a light rusty rufous color, and then like you said, it has that black or the gray cap on it, which is so interesting to look at because it's like so straight. Like the edges of it are so straight. which your picture kind of got a little bit.
I got it in my picture. Yeah.
Yeah, so the whole time we were there were bicyclists coming and going, and it turned out that there was going to be an Ironman like the next day.
Yeah.
On Cozumel.
So I was like, well, I'm glad we're not here during the Ironman.
Yeah.
There's really one road that loops the island, and that's basically what they were going to be riding and running on.
And Melba had clients that day, so that was going to be probably frustrating.
That was going to be an adventure.
Yes. And there's not a lot of targets on Cozumel. There's the 3 endemic species, the vireo, a Cozumel wren, and a Cozumel emerald. And there was also a Cozumel thrasher, but it's critically endangered and hasn't actually been seen since 2004.
Yeah.
And they think the decline was mostly due to introduced species like boa constrictors, also human development, and that was just compounded by hurricanes, even though hurricanes are part of their evolution in life history.
But there's still hurricanes getting worse.
Yeah.
They're more damaging, and you don't have the ability to recover because people have changed the landscape.
Totally.
So
but
it all builds and builds and builds.
Yeah, but the introduced species seem to be the key reason for their decline. So that is always a target, but since it hasn't been seen since 2004, I mean, what is the likelihood?
It wasn't really on our list of like, we're going to go find the Cozumel thrasher. But we thought we had pretty good chances of Cozumel vireo, Cozumel wren, and Cozumel emerald. The emerald is a hummingbird species. So from the wastewater treatment plant, Melba was like, all right, we've seen our targets here. Let's go find some endemics. And I was like, oh, heck yes, let's go find some endemics. So we headed back south, drove past the cruise port that we stayed in, or that we pulled into, and then we actually went to the next cruise port south. There's 2 main cruise ports that are only a couple of miles apart. And the road that goes to the southern cruise port has a planetarium, like half a mile away from the port.
Yeah.
And so we park, and she's like, okay, we're going here. We walk back, and the planetarium was closed.
Well,
or maybe it was just permanently closed.
I think it's permanently closed.
It looked pretty empty.
But some doors were open.
Yeah, that was interesting. It was just kind of seemed partial abandoned.
But in the parking lot was our lifer black catbird.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was really cool.
That was pretty cool. Very vocal bird. It was just singing and singing and singing, and it's just like gray catbird, but all black. It doesn't have the additional like peachy under stuff that the gray catbird has. It's just black.
Well, and I guess I didn't do my research at all because I didn't even like have that on my radar.
It wasn't on my radar either. And she said it, and it's like, oh, yeah, no, I've never seen a black catbird.
Yeah, it's a really pretty bird though. It's kind of iridescent-y, kind of like a starling without all the spots. No? Okay, never mind.
I think it just looks like a gray catbird, but all black.
Okay, well, it looks like that too. So we got that, which was really good. And then right behind the planetarium, there's a huge forested area, and they have a short little trail that goes into that forest. And we were walking down the trail, and all of a sudden a Cozumel vireo popped up. Yeah,
Melba did like one whistle. It wasn't even playback. It was just a whistle. And then all of a sudden this Cozumel vireo comes down and was so curious. And I don't think of vireos as a bird that's curious. Like chickadees, sure, bush tits, wrens, all curious. I don't think of vireos as something that's going to come and just like want to investigate you.
I feel like they're more aggressive and like territorial.
Yeah, I can see territorial. And there was 2 that were associating together. Maybe it was a pair.
Yeah.
And they look pretty much the same. I don't think they're sexually dimorphic. But going around, this vireo is gorgeous. It's got a really thick eye ring around it. It's got a kind of a fleshy colored pink bill, couple of wing bars. It's a stunning and
it's like a cinnamony brown.
Yeah, and it's like a bold vireo that's overall like very colorful.
Yeah,
for a vireo, very colorful. Just so it's like, oh, sweet. Our first endemic species to Cozumel. So that was pretty darn exciting. So from there, Melba didn't seem that excited about the vireo. She was more interested in getting us the Cozumel wren, which I guess is harder. She ended up doing some playback for this. Did like two rounds of playback, and it called once after the 2 rounds of playback, and then it flew, landed on a rock, and then disappeared, and then didn't come back. We pitched, nothing.
And there was like a chain link fence, so that
we couldn't get
prevented
any
us,
closer. Yeah,
from getting any closer.
Yeah, so we're like, well, we got to look at it, and we told them we don't need more playback. That's fine. You did one thing, we're good. If we happen to see it again, we'll happen to see it again. But we saw a thing, not very satisfying, but it was there. Very clearly a Wren. Over, stood up, called, dropped, gone. So it's like, all right, well, that's technically it's good enough to count. So we told her that's fine. Let's move it along. We don't need to sit here and stress about this.
And there's some blue-gray gnatcatchers too. So yeah, there was some.
It was a nice like forested area. So it was actually also comfortable too. Like it was hot outside of the forest. You go into the forest and like the heat island effect and all that stuff is 20 degrees cooler inside the forest.
I thought it was going to be more humid though.
I thought it would be too, but it honestly wasn't that humid. And it was there was gnats flying around, but it wasn't like biting gnats or flies or anything. So I didn't get any bug bites or anything down there. But from there, pretty much just crossed the street. We didn't really even go that far. It was Calle Jamaica or Jicama. Calle Jicama, which is right on the basically right on the other side.
Yeah, it was like on the other side of the street.
Right on the side of the street. It's a neighborhood area that it has a hotspot, eBird hotspot. So either guides go there a lot, so a lot of people make it, or for some reason it's
somebody around there.
Somebody around there is a birder. But it's a hotspot, so that it was like, oh, this is easy. I'll make my checklist here.
Well, and it's a really interesting area because it's a neighborhood, like Eric said, but there's a lot of empty lots, and a lot of them are really forested, and the lots themselves are large.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
city like home sites.
Yeah, very large residential lots. So like here in Cannon Beach, they're 50 by 100 for our typical residential lots.
Those ones are probably like 150 by 150.
Yeah, at least 150 by 150. Maybe 200 by 200 is what the feet is the measurement as Americans. To 150 or 200.
What would it be in meters?
A third. A third of that. But there seemed relatively large with a house in the middle of the lot with forest.
Some of them.
Most of them had forested areas around it.
But like every other one was probably vacant.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So it was an interesting situation. So that meant a lot of like habitat.
Yeah.
A lot of native habitat around this area. So we go back, first empty lot, American redstart, Northern Perula, Magnolia warbler. We're ticking off species. Boom, boom, boom. Getting good species for our Cozumel list. This particular list, but no new lifers, nothing crazy like that yet. But we're walking along this trail, and there's a brick wall on our right hand side, and kind of a forested area on our left, and there's like a chattering that they called out, and Melba was like, "Oh, there it is!" She got super excited about it. It was one of our other targets. Landed on one of the branches, probably 15 feet away from us. Is a relatively large hummingbird. It's medium large, and it's a big long forked tail, a Cozumel emerald. So very, very exciting. Technically, at that point, we had all 3 of the endemics. And we were only like 2 hours into a 4-hour or 5-hour trip. So it's like, oh, nice. Now we can just work on getting better looks. We can work on finding more species to flesh out our Cozumel list. Cool.
in the Cozumel emerald it's an interesting looking hummingbird. Like it's got the bicolored bill that's like a bright neon orange almost.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of like a broad-tailed hummingbird.
But it was like more orangey than pink.
Oh yeah. Not pink. Yeah, but the bicolored, that it's like bold and then dark.
Yeah, and the forking of the tail is just really interesting too. It's like a star or something. Like it's all its not limbs, but like its wings are just really thin, and it's kind of the same as its tail. So yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting looking hummingbird, and it was flying around feeding, so we got really good looks at it. It kept landing. I tried to get a video of it, and I couldn't get everything to line up correctly to get a video at the time with my phone, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was really active, and so that was fun to just sit and watch that. I love how they like hummingbirds will land and then they just swing their heads back and forth.
They're always on high alert. They're always ready for a competing male to come in and do something to them, or a female to come by that they need to go woo, or something. They're always on high alert, on lookout. And I feel like there's not I know other birds eat them, and they do get predated on, but I feel like that's not what they're on high alert for. I feel like they're on high alert for other hummingbirds.
Yeah.
Like they're constantly like most high strung. It's probably because they eat so much sugar. They're just high strung. But it's just so high strung. It's a lot of fun to watch hummingbirds.
Yeah, definitely. And this one was very active, like I said.
No different than every other hummingbird. Very high strung.
But just the way it like sweeps its head back and forth is just like so intentional.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's just the thing that they're using to scare everything away. So down the trail a little bit further, after we got all of our good looks at that, there was a Yucatan woodpecker hopping in and calling.
You know me, I love Melanerpes woodpeckers.
Yep.
I mean, it's not my favorite family of woodpeckers, but I feel like I'm constantly like, oh, look at this guy. It's a Melanerpes.
I know, you're just always like, Hannah, look at this woodpecker. It's a Melanerpes. It's like, okay.
I also kind of like that word, Melanerpes. It's kind of a fun word to say.
Get that tattooed on your arm.
On my arm,
Melanerpes.
Yeah, so Melanerpes woodpeckers, they're like...
That's what you should do for your tattoo.
they're like red-bellied woodpeckers, these Yucatan woodpeckers. Similar, their bill is pretty tiny compared to a red-bellied woodpecker. But I would say it's like a little bit bigger than a downy woodpecker bill, but it's thicker.
But the hummingbird, the woodpecker itself
it's a small woodpecker too. It's a really small Melanerpes woodpecker. So
they're cute,
half the size of a red belly maybe.
Yeah,
or golden fronted if you're from South Texas. But yeah, it's a nice little woodpecker. Pretty compact.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
easy for travel.
Easy. Yeah. Fits in carry-on luggage, no problem.
Wow. Don't do that.
Yeah. Don't traffic birds.
So we kept wandering around the neighborhood some more groups of warblers. We added on a yellow-throated warbler, palm warbler, banana quits, buntings. It was, a pretty active area, and just there was nobody around. Like, no
we
cars.
didn't see a single person this whole time. Like, I was kind of expecting like, oh, we'll see somebody like doing some yard work or something. And I don't know if, because the cruise ships were in port, like, do all the people that live here, do they work in some tourist industry that supplies the stuff for the cruise ships?
I have no idea.
Maybe, but literally no. This neighborhood seemed completely abandoned at the time. There was some dogs kind of moving around and doing their thing.
We saw a horse.
Saw a horse, but no people. So it was like, oh, this is interesting. Yeah,
it was kind of fun to wander through. There was a beautiful home just like at the back of the neighborhood with a tree outside its gate that was blooming and was a buzz with bugs and things. And then our other target hummingbird, which I didn't have on my radar because I was only thinking of endemics, but a cinnamon hummingbird, which is beautiful. And it also has a bicolored bill that's, ruby and black, has a cinnamon belly and green on its head and wings. It's a really pretty little hummingbird, and we got some great looks at it. And it was feeding all over the tree. Yeah,
it had one tree as its home. This is it's going to defend it. When we got close to it, it kind of got a little antsy and did circles and stuff, but we backed off and it just was hanging out. There's also a really cool lizard on that wall that I got a good photo of.
Yeah, and Melba had that hummingbird there for a couple days, so she was excited that
she was excited that it was still there, yeah.
Yeah. So at that point, Melba offered either we can call it a day or hit one more spot since we already got all our targets. And as birders and as, tourists to the area, we wanted to see a little bit more. So she took us over to Cenote El Aerolito, which was really close to the cruise port also, which was really nice that like all these hotspots, I feel like if you went and you didn't have a guide, you could take a taxi to all these spots really easily.
I feel like you could, because also the spots, like the planetarium it's close to the other cruise port, so you could and there was lots of just taxis around.
Yeah.
And the Calle Jicama was right there.
Across the street.
Right next to it. The Cenote was a local destination for locals, and also I'm sure tourists appreciate going there as well, so it's pretty easy to get to that. It would be much easier to get around by hiring a guide, but I think technically you could do it with just taxis. The wastewater plant would be difficult to get to, or difficult to get away from.
Well, I think you would just tell, the
have
taxi.
the taxi wait for you or
yeah,
something.
just be like, can you hang out for like 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's true.
It couldn't be that expensive.
Yeah, pay him a couple extra to hang out while you bird for
Usually
20 minutes.
Taxis are pretty cool with that.
Yeah, because then you'll pay them for the next trip down. But yeah, so it's potentially doable without a guide, but it definitely makes it easier when the guide can just literally take you right to where you need to go.
Well, and we also want to support the birding guides that are in that area, so they can help continue to develop ecotourism.
Exactly. The more people that care about it, especially people that live locally, the better things are protected.
Well, and one of the cool things about Melba is that she was a park ranger at one of the local parks, and then she got into guiding, and she was doing like history guiding and things like that, and then she developed her birding ability, and so she's getting that going too. So it's really cool to see, to hear about her transition and and all that. So we want to support that as much as we can.
Yeah, for sure. So we got to this last spot, the cenote, which cenotes are there's all throughout the Yucatan Peninsula. There are all of the rock is limestone, and water erodes away caves really easily through this limestone. It pulls it away. So there's underwater rivers all throughout the whole Yucatan, and Cozumel is no different. It's essentially part of the Yucatan Peninsula, even though it's slightly separate. It's the substrate below is all made of limestone. So there's underground caves with fresh and salt water, sometimes brackish water, all over the place. And a cenote is where the roof of the underground river collapsed, and now you have an opening. So you
like
can
a sinkhole.
Like a sinkhole. So you can get into that cave. So that's what a cenote is, a sinkhole. And we get to the sinkhole, and they very clearly look like sinkholes. Yeah. Like it looks.
It's pretty large.
It's pretty darn large, and we're looking at this, and right across the water is an alligator.
Yeah, but we were looking at it, and it's like, oh, it's so pretty. I would love to go swimming in this.
Just crystal clear, pristine water.
Because
it's welling up out of the
spring.
Out of the spring.
And we've swam in cenotes before, so it's not like that's uncommon. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there was an alligator in this one.
It's like, maybe let's not go swimming today. We'll walk around the outside of this thing. So, and people do go swimming in this cenote.
She said she hasn't been since the alligator came in.
Yeah, she said she hasn't been, but she said other people do go.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, well, have fun. So there's the main cenote that you come upon right from the parking lot, and then there's some additional openings that are a little bit further back into the forested area. And while we were there was another tourist group that was it was all in Spanish. The guide was speaking in Spanish to his clients, so I was like, okay, these are local Mexicans that came from the mainland somewhere that came across, and they're enjoying the tourist activities on Cozumel themselves.
Yeah, so, I think it was just like a general nature tour.
Yeah, it seemed like a general nature tour. Yeah, he was telling them about the cenote. He was describing the alligator, saying where it was. Just general. It didn't seem like they were focused on birds, but nature.
And we had magnificent frigate birds flying over, so you can really tell that we were pretty close to the port. We didn't walk too far down the trail. It had rained recently, and it was all muddy.
Yeah.
So we were just kind of trying to dodge like the muddy spots.
I don't think the trail went much further than what we went, though.
I don't think so either. She didn't make it seem like it did. And we walked just past the cenote, and we ran into 3 Cozumel wrens. They were really active, and Eric got some great audio and pictures.
Lots of audio. These guys were so loud and so just insistent, just over and over and over. The downside to the audio, I got some good stuff out of it, but there was so much background noise because we were close to the port, so there was like the big clang, clang, clang as they're moving big I-beams around or whatever they're doing over there. The people are walking back and forth on the trail, that they're enjoying nature, so they're talking about it and stuff. So I didn't get as many recordings as I could, but man, this fantastic red noises, like these things just calling and calling and calling right here within 5 feet of me. And like it was one of those situations where the bird is perched up and I'm trying to sort between, am I shooting photos of this guy because he's right here, or am I taking audio because he's calling? So I'm like holding my phone in one hand while I'm trying to shoot pictures with the other, and it became a whole situation where Hannah was back talking with Melba like maybe 20 feet back, because they had already gotten some really good looks at it and everything, and I'm just like, I just need to get some media of this because it's so cool.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but it was It was good to actually like get a good look at it because we were going to
So much better than the planetarium look.
I know we were just going to be satisfied with the planetarium look and be like, that's not the best, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But this was like so much better.
Yeah, this was as good as it gets for views of Wrens.
Yeah. And we also had another black catbird, so
Yeah.
it's fun to see that. At that point, we were getting hot and hungry, so Melba, and we'd seen what we were going to see, so Melba dropped us off at the port. We still had about an hour and a half before we had to get back on the ship, and Eric found a brewery that was a few blocks away, so we decided to, we got to check that out too.
Yeah, I mean, it said, like, I had a hard time, like, I was like, I'm just gonna, a brewery, let's see, is there breweries on Cozumel? And there was a whole bunch of places popped up, and every time I clicked on one, it was like, Senor Frogs. I was like, Senor Frogs is not a brewery. And then I click on the next one, and it would be like some other, like,
did you need to look
dancing on the beaches, like
Cerveceria or something?
I can't remember what I ended up looking at, but I found this place, Punta Sur Brewery, so South Point Brewery.
Yeah.
I don't know how I ended up finding it, but I ended up, as I'm Googling and looking through stuff and trying to figure it out, and it was like 6 or 7 blocks outside of the port.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is not that far to walk. We can walk over there.
Well, and I'm glad you found that because we were talking about like, well, let's get some food here,
Yeah.
and as we were walking past all of the restaurants, they were like super touristy. And
yeah.
I mean, I've been to touristy places.
Mhm.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But I want
each their
to
own.
go to some place that's like maybe a little quieter and
Yeah.
more local.
Yeah, a little off the beaten path. Like, just go and eat just regular, just food. You don't,
Yeah.
and not the port prices that is for the people coming in on the cruise ship. Like, let's get away from this stuff and go to just a regular restaurant.
Yeah, so we walked over there. It took maybe like 10 minutes to get there to the Punta Sur Brewery, and it's the first and only microbrew
And only.
in Cozumel. And it's actually a really cool spot. The owners are Americans, but they are divers, and one of the unique things that they have on their menu is lionfish. And so they work with a lot of local divers to try to, eradicate lionfish that are bad for the ecosystem and the reefs and all that.
And it seems like the only fish that was on their menu was lionfish. There was a whole bunch of stuff. There was a whole bunch of different seafood. It wasn't only seafood. They had other stuff on the pizzas and stuff like that. But the only fish that was on the menu seemed to be lionfish. So it's like they're very intentional that they are only going to serve this invasive species that they contract with local fishermen to go out and cull out of the reefs.
Yeah, which we didn't end up getting it because I don't eat any fish.
Yeah, Hannah doesn't eat seafood. So.
But they had a pizza and ceviche that were made with the lionfish. I kind of wish that you would have. Have you ever tried lionfish?
I've never had lionfish. No, I should have got it because it was like, okay, well, I'm going to help eradicate by eating this.
Yeah, you should have. Next time.
That's a fish I feel like I can feel good about eating. Like, I don't generally feel bad about eating fish anyways, but I can feel good about eating lionfish.
There you go. So we ended up splitting a pizza and a torta, which they were both good.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, good.
We had a couple of beers and it was hot. So I chugged water and I think I drank them out of water. One of the owners was doing a presentation to a bunch of diners too, in the back of the brewery. So that sounded really interesting.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish we would have had time to like participate in something like that. But we did not.
We didn't. We enjoyed our beers. They had AC at this brewery. It was not turned to North American temperatures. So it was kind of like, instead of sweating through your shirt, you're just sweating when you're inside. So it wasn't bad, but it wasn't refreshing.
Okay.
But the beer was very refreshing.
It was a nice spot though.
Yeah, definitely. So by that point it was like, all right, well, let's go back to the ship and we'll join all of our cruise ship passengers on the boat.
The funny thing is, when we were walking to the brewery, we passed by the Senor Frogs, and it was hopping, and there were people on the dance floor, and
people on top of tables and the bars, and just hooting and hollering and dancing and drunk.
We've never been to Senor Frog, but we've just heard stories.
Yeah.
And then on the way back, it was empty.
There wasn't a single person. There was nobody left. And it's like, because like every other port that we've been to on this trip, we're the first people off and the last people back. So we're walking back. We have like 10 minutes until they need us on the boat, and everything. All of the tourist shops completely empty.
Yeah.
All of the restaurants completely empty. Senor Frogs, that was the most stark contrast, where it was just like, just so busy on the way by, and then come back dead. Just completely. So it's like, all right, well, they get their 4 hours or 5 hours of business each day or every other day or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So, anyways, we ended up getting 7 lifers
Yeah.
on this trip, at this specific part.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty good, and it was so fun to hang out with Melba and learn more about her and about Cozumel itself.
And then you interviewed her later for your podcast.
Yeah, so it was definitely a great day trip spot.
Yeah. So, moral of the whole story is, as long as you plan far enough ahead, it's possible to get guides when you're on a cruise ship. It's if you
a month and a half later, this is all to say.
Yes, this is all to say it's doable. It's possible. So it's this sort of trip. It may not be ideal. It may not be the best sort of birding trip. It's not a birding trip. It's a family vacation, and then you squeeze some birding out on the side, and so it's possible. We've seen a lot of posts recently on Facebook, people asking, "Oh, I want to go to Cozumel, or I want to go to Grand Cayman, or whatever it is on the birding travel Facebook page," and it's like, hey, here are some resources to find it. Like, we literally just talked about this on the podcast, or hey, here, check out this website. This is where you can find some guides. Guides are available in a lot of these cruise ports.
Well, and
it's just getting it far enough ahead of time so that they're not already engaged with somebody else.
Well, and particularly with Caribbean islands, I can't give enough praise to the Caribbean Birding Trail website and the guides on that, because those guides are vetted through Birds Caribbean and the Caribbean Birding Trail, and they've gone through some sort of training. So those people, I feel great about supporting, and because they're doing cool things in their community too that are helping birds, like we were talking about with Ricardo, and the kind of advocacy he has for birds there, and also other guides, especially when it comes to things like hurricanes. How you can help. And so it's great that they have that resource for you to go find people at.
Yeah, and if you're able to schedule it far enough ahead of time so you can get one, get a guide. None of the guides were more expensive than just going with a cruise ship sponsored trip. So it wasn't like you're spending a ton of extra money to do something. The excursions from the cruise ship are whatever those prices are. I honestly don't remember right now.
Well, they vary.
They vary depending on what you're doing, but the cost to go with Melba was about the same as if we were to just go and just take one of those random excursions. The same thing with Ricardo, same thing with Getty's. Pretty much the same price to go with them and do a very specific intentional bird thing, or to just go and get an excursion. So
the one thing you do have to consider, though, is if you're hiring somebody who's not vetted through the cruise, is that if they don't get you back in time, or if you're not back in time, then they're not going to wait for you. If you're on a cruise sponsored thing, then they will wait. But if you're not, then you're on your own. So you have to be more responsible. Yeah,
it just takes more responsibility on yourself. But it's not unreasonable.
No,
it's a boat that's leaving. Just make sure you're back by the time the boat leaves.
And all those guides, they have experience doing this exact same thing.
Exactly.
So they're not going to try to keep you.
No, that's not good for their business.
Yeah.
So, anyways, had a great time. Cozumel was great. Grand Cayman was great. Jamaica was great. I can't wait to go on our next trip. We've been talking about this for a while, which is a nice escape to be able to talk about something that happened a couple of months ago. But yeah, I'm excited to go on our next trip, which would be Japan.
Okay.
In a couple of days. Anyways, thank you guys all for listening to our podcast. We hope you enjoyed it and or learned something new. Please, please, please rate, review, and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Music, or anywhere else that you listen to us. If you would like to connect with us on the socials, you can follow us at Hannah Goes Birding and Eric Goes Birding on Instagram. You can follow our Facebook page at Hannah and Eric Go Birding. You can also email us at hannahhandericgobirding@gmail.com. You can also check out our website at www.gobirdingpodcast.com. Tell us what you think and share the love of birding with your friends.